Well, good evening, good afternoon, good day, good morning, good night, wherever you are. Welcome. Welcome to Leading Ladies, Leaving Legacies. Oh my goodness, there's so much to share with you tonight. I always get excited. I can't help it. My name is Joy Ruffin. My work is as a style and leadership consultant, a signature style specialist, speaker, executive producer, TV host, and podcaster. And every Wednesday night on Leading Ladies, Leaving Legacies, I bring you a featured guest speaker. And tonight we're going to be talking about something that we all need. And our featured guest speaker tonight, her name is Dorothy Kelly. Dorothy is a producer and an activist who advocates for personal breakthroughs as a coach. She's an executive producer. She's a host of the entertainment and educational video platform, WTV 60, which we're going to talk a lot about. We're going to talk about a lot tonight. Dorothy, hello and welcome. I'm so honored to have you here tonight.
Thanks, Joy. Very excited to be here with you as always.
Oh my goodness, the feeling is mutual because we've known each other for quite a while, and our ultimate aim in results is to step up everything that has to do with those who are aging, and especially women. Now, the
Yes.
title tonight is Leading a Conversation for Aging, How to Age the Best Way. Dorothy, how did you come up with this, how to age the best way, and working with women in the aging process? What was your beginning of wanting to do this work?
I will share with you briefly why I was inspired to tackle this project. I
Good.
started about 3 years ago, but I began to notice something that everybody in our audience knows. Women have been ignored, aging women have been ignored for quite a while. And as I was looking at various media platforms, I thought, where are the older women? Where is the information and the content for our population? So much of the focus is on younger people. And look, it is extremely important for younger people to find their path and leave their mark. But we also have so much information and knowledge that we can share, not only with our peers, but with younger people. So
Oh, I
I
love that.
decided I'm doing it. I'm starting this conversation.
Yeah, good for you. And I'm right there with you because the verbiage that you just shared with us is powerful because this aging thing has gone far too far over to the dark side, Dorothy. And
Yeah.
you said ignored, I say invisible, disconnected for all the varying reasons. But what you know, let me share with you that what you ended with that's beautiful. We are aging, yet we have a love and appreciation and admiration for the younger generation. We are
Mhm.
here to make sure they have it for themselves as they age. That's our
Yeah.
assignment. How did you? I know that your background is financial. We're going to talk a little bit about that
Mhm.
later. What this key that you gave us, so many aging women are ignored. What gave you the insight that you saw that pivoted you to make this change and to work with women who are aging so that you could give them the enable them to get the power that they need to keep scaling higher, higher, and higher?
Well, simply, this came to me in just how I was interacting with people in my own bracket and what
Yes.
I was observing. It didn't take a lot of insight and study to just notice that there was this big gap in information, assistance, support, inspiration, education, etc. for this demographic. And think about how many of us there are. Now, I only work with women because what do I know? What can I explain to a man about his psyche, his being, etc.? But I know women, and we have been left in the dust for how long? So I'm
Hmm.
supporting and inspiring women. In your words, Joy, to come into their power.
Well, that's why I'm connected with you. That's why I celebrate the work that you're doing. And that's why we're connected. We're going about it in different ways, but it's the same thing. That word that you
Mhm.
use, that we are ignored, and this big, huge gap. And, we don't have time now to blame anyone for why
Yeah.
we released our power. stepped away from our power, lost it, whatever verbiage you want to use. It's just time to take back what's innately within us.
Yeah.
Share our wisdom. We have so much to share.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. And
Yeah.
that's why the work that you're doing. How do you help women at this stage and what you're doing to share their dreams? Because so many, Dorothy, I've seen it, you've seen it, many of us are aware, just kind of step back and give up. They retire and it's all over and who cares? Which is the expression that I loathe. Who cares? We need
Yeah.
to care. We need to take pride. So how do you get women to realize that these are the celebratory years? This is the time to rise and to scale and to climb higher and higher and to share
Hmm.
and give back. What do you
Hmm.
do? How do you do that?
Well, I would say a couple of ways. The big way is, so every Tuesday I create a show, a program on our website WTV60. And I always try to put together a series. It helps me in my own mind organize my content. So I
Ah,
have done series such as 8 steps to start a new habit. Habits are really hard and they can
yeah.
be so helpful in our lives. I've done a summer series, 5 parts, how to really improve your health, that type of thing. So the shows are built around action steps. I think action steps is a key word with my programming because I give the content and then invite the audience of what to do about it.
I love that. 8 steps, 5 parts, good way to start because people like to be involved, engaged, and take action once they're given
Mhm.
guidelines and rules and so on to
Mhm.
work with. And that way you bring them in. What is I'm sure it's different. We're global, we're international, we go everywhere. So we
Right.
don't have these small little habitat communities anymore. Even if we're in one, we think big, we think global. How and what have you found to date to be one, two, three, however it breaks down, reasons why so many women in this aging alignment just give up, just say, and just step aside? What would you say you have found to date to
Mhm.
be some of the main reasons that happens to all of us? I can only speak for myself. I've never been a financial person, Dorothy. That's why I'm aligned with you. And now I'm learning painfully so that I have to be. So
Right.
this is what many of us need. So
Right.
what have you found other than that, a reason why women need to step more into the power of knowing and embracing everything about them?
Well, I can give you two right off the bat. That
Yes.
women, you actually said it. Women aging often feel so invisible and
Yes.
ignored, and that really weighs on us.
Yeah.
You know, we it's hard to keep building yourself up and thinking like I have a place in this world even at my age. I can't believe I'm making that statement. So we've been shown it and told it, maybe not directly, but we're observing it. But the other second thing is when you think of women all these years and what our tasks have been, we might not have the confidence to
Mm.
think that at this age, I can take a step further. I can get out of my comfort zone. I can overcome a fear. I can
Mhm.
actually change my life. I can improve my life.
Yes.
So, building up that self confidence is huge.
And you know what happens, Dorothy? My end of what we're doing as far as the aging is somewhat different. A lot of women reach whatever that is to them, the second act, second chapter, midlife, the golden years. Doesn't matter. It's all verbiage. And they
Right.
decide, I'm retired. I'm giving it up. It doesn't matter. The
Yeah.
kids are gone, the hubby, blah, blah, blah. And they just say, who cares? Well, we still need to care. And we
Yeah.
have been brainwashed. And I love the entertainment industry. I have nothing against it really that's major, small things. But the entertainment industry and the fashion industry has warped our way of thinking in such a
Yeah.
way that we
Mhm.
lose what we think. It isn't so. But a lot of women riding still in that bubble that they have to be hot and sexy and this, that, and the other. And it's not
Mhm.
true. They have to be still regal, royal,
Yeah.
elegant, classy, and in charge and confident about who they are. And whoever they are, whatever type of body, shape, looks, whatever, you're still beautiful. And that's what you're about. And I love that about you. So you're helping people to achieve and know that that confidence that they've lost, they can build it up again. Right?
Right. Yes,
Now,
and we can still have dreams.
yes.
We can still go for it. Life is not over.
Exactly. And you mentioned that word confidence, and confidence is a word that's kind of thrown around, it's bantered around here and there, just like this word authentic and pivot. Authentic, you see so many women, and and I know, and they know that they've given up. And how do we reach out to them to let them know that this is a time to celebrate all the beautiful life experiences they've had? What do you do, and how do you, outside of the financial? I know that you do your TV show, and I love the 8 steps and the 5 parts and all that. You engage them that way. What other
Yes.
means are you doing that supports women to seeing how powerful they can be if they stay in the game, so to speak?
Great question. I would say through inspiring and showing other women what some of us has have are doing. And let me explain how.
Yes.
I started, let's say during this last year, we've been on the air for almost 3 years now. Let's say during this
Woo-hoo.
last year, I started a content type that was I'm asking women to share a proud story from their
Yes.
lives. I was so surprised how many women were stumped. They could not immediately think of something. Now, when I kept questioning, they could come up with it, but immediately, I don't think we were encouraged as younger women to
No.
think that I'm proud without it being boastful. But hey, so what if it's a little bit boastful? Think of everything that women have had to accomplish in
Oh
their
my.
lifetime as the caretaker, all the things. I don't need to get into it.
Yes.
But
Yes.
by showing these stories of women that can dig deep and go, no, I did this. It has been an exceptional tool to encourage other women to look inward to themselves and say, hey, I've done this.
I love that. I love that for all the reasons that you stated. And I want to take that a wee bit further. You gave this to me, and I'm just throwing it back at you because what you're talking about, different verbiage, but the same underlying meaning, you
Mm-hmm.
are encouraging, I am encouraging women to become activists and advocate for themselves. Go inside deep and
Yeah,
probe and bring up all of that greatness, that
yeah.
goodness, that gold, that genius that's there. How do you spoke to it a wee bit, but let's take it a step further. How do you advocate and become an activist for women and allow them to see that they can do the same for themselves? What are some of the procedures and steps that you use to give that out to others?
Well, I have to go back to what I was saying. Some of these series that I have created
I like that.
are inspirational in their way.
Mhm.
Um, for instance, this is a little bit off topic, but I did a 6-part series called Then and Now.
I like
So
that.
I'm born in the 50s. I was definitely a baby boomer. I went through the 60s and the 70s with all the real activism that we were starting and engaging in because of, the world at that
Mhm.
time.
Mhm.
And it's a lot of us have then settled into life as it usually is for people, and we lost that activism spirit. But it's
Yes.
so important right now when we look at all of the issues going on in the world that everybody, including us, step up and get engaged
Yes.
and become more of an activist and especially advocate. To me, it's a little bit different because when we advocate, we're really speaking for ourselves. And when we
Exactly.
look at this age, things that we are going to be facing maybe now with a health or financial issue or something that's going to be coming up, we need to be more informed and speak up for ourselves, not just
Oh,
accept what we might be told.
oh, Dorothy. Yes, indeed. You use verbiage that has me pumping here because I love the then and now. I use the old and the new,
Yeah.
melding and blending them together. And we cannot afford to settle into complacency
No.
and just it's okay, it's all right. We have to take action, and we have to be about blending the old and the new. I love that. And how you advocate and become an activist is you start with yourself. There's so many ways
Yeah,
to say it, but that's it. Oh my
absolutely.
goodness. The conversation is so needed, Dorothy, and that's why I'm happy to be a part of your group, your team, and the tribe that you're about. Let me take a quick little reset here. And I want
Okay.
to mention something that's coming up for me, which is a masterclass. And then I want to speak to a great sponsor that I have, and I want to speak to something great that they're about. So hold tight. We'll
Okay.
put you in the green room, and I'll be back with you in just a second. This is such a conversation. This is a conversation that needs to be had, and we're having it. And the prayer is that you're tuning in and you're listening and you're taking it all to heart, no matter what generation you're in. And my invitation I extend to you every week. March the 16th, I started a month ago and now it's almost here. We're having a masterclass, a signature style masterclass. Everything is here. Everything is listed. You can go and register and make sure that you join me, because you're going to walk away with a lot of jewels, especially if you're second act, second chapter, golden years, and you want to be an activist and advocate for you. That's what we're going to do. And now let's talk about a sponsor that we have here that's absolutely fantastic. And what I want to talk about, I think my engineer went over to another side, because I want to talk about abundant healing. And I want to share with you this harmonic egg session. It's a remote session that you ought to really avail yourself of. Let me tell you, all you have to do is get this information, call, check in, and see what it's all about. I had my first remote session. I'm scheduled for another. It was phenomenal. It was fantastic. I'd love to share with you more and more and more, but I want you to take that information, go there, call them up, email, text, whatever your verbiage might be, and make the connection, because this harmonic egg is new age, but it's exciting. Dorothy and I tonight are talking about the aging process and all that it entails. This is something new, but we are ready to embrace everything that's new that helps us to keep moving in the direction that we need to be going on to, which is forward. That said, Dorothy, let's talk about now. You shared a lot of stories about the then and the now and what work that you're doing and women and all of the different variations and stories. Let's talk about the practical side of aging. Now, that's a word that sometimes people use, and I'm not overly fond of, because maybe I'm not that practical. I don't know. But when you talk about the practical side of aging, and of course that's coming up, what are you talking about? Because I understand the word practical. I get the semantics of the word, but when we say the practical side of aging, what are we talking about? What do we mean?
All right. Well, let's think about the word practical. A
Yes.
lot of people don't like it because it implies that you have to maybe take some action and deal with your reality, practical. And
Yes.
there's a lot of things in our lives we don't want to have to deal with. And
Yes.
the three biggest things that I see for aging, and frankly, for every population, is money,
Yes.
health. Look at how many
Yes.
people, oh, I have this little ache and pain. Well, maybe
Oh
it
my
will
goodness.
go away.
Oh,
Or
Dorothy,
I don't want
yes.
to go see the doctor. I don't want to know what it is. We all know how we psych ourselves out of dealing with it.
Yes.
And third is, especially for our demographic, but this is for everybody. Are you sitting down, people? Estate planning. I mean, what can be more practical than that? And we know what the problem is there. People don't want to have to think about why you would need an estate. You have passed on. Clearly, we don't want to think about those. So those three topics, plus plus this personal development realm, which is huge. Like, we always have ways that we can grow and become better and learn more things. So those, I would say, are the four big topics that we talk about a lot, that are very practical.
Yes, I love your explanation. Thank you for that. I needed to hear that. I needed to receive that, and I have, because you brilliantly conveyed to me exactly what that word practical means. I don't disagree, but I want to add something. And you mentioned the word grow at the end. And when you gave me your first two, I was thinking the third would be something else. But I'm so happy you put in estate planning, because I was thinking money, health, and continuing to stay open to grow, to learn, to educate
Yes.
yourself, to expand. This is what happens, what I have found, Dorothy. So many who are aging, especially the much older generation, they just stop learning. They give
Yeah.
up. And you know where it's true, and it was for me in the beginning, and now I just hang by my shirt tail, it's technology. You know how
Oh,
many people
yes.
we meet who are our age and they say, oh, okay, I don't want to do this. I don't, and I'm one myself guilty. So I thought you were going to say grow, but yet estate planning is so major, because that's talking about financial. Why is it that you think this is a question for me, and I can answer for myself, but I want to hear from you. Why is it that my generation, 10 or 20, 30 years ahead or behind, relied more, you're the exception, on men to handle the financial end of everything? And we just kind of drifted and floated through. I'm guilty. So, why is it that now it seems more and more, not why, but more and more women today are embracing the actual awareness and learning about how to handle finances? Would you agree? Is that a good statement? Or does that make sense?
Well, nothing is true across the board.
This
But
is true.
when we think back to our when we were in our 20s and 30s, like, I'm sorry, men were still in charge of a lot. Women's place was in the home. I'm not going to say all the scenarios or the thoughts, but we were kind of told what our place was. But let's think about what's going on now. There are so many more single women. In a way, in that scenario, we have to become more responsible. And
Exactly.
information is so much more available. With computers, speaking of technology, we can
Yes.
all learn about our resources, about money. So it's having the interest to learn or having the need to learn. And this
Yes.
it's not newer, but it certainly was not the norm when we were younger women.
I love the way you put that, Dorothy, because it's more the interest to learn rather than the need. Don't wait for the need. Gather
Right.
that interest as soon as you can, so that you can gather the awareness and knowledge that you need. Because handling money, especially in this entrepreneurial arena that most of us are in, we have to be able to manage what we're doing. And for a lot of people, no matter how creative you are, if you don't have that money management skill, it can create a lot of problems. And my understanding and what I see is that a lot of women, I've met a phenomenal lady who is very much financially savvy, with teaching you how to be. And this is a blessing, as you are. But that said, take charge of your money is what you're saying to us, in the best way, in estate planning. Money, health, and estate planning. That's what you have found over the years are the three major concerns for women who are in the aging cycle, right?
Yes, but let me add something to this part of the conversation.
Please.
I I have been the main producer of content on our show. And these are areas where I have a lot of experience. I had an accounting, I still have an accounting and tax preparation business for over 40 years.
Oh
So
my
this is
goodness,
in my
good.
wheelhouse. So it's easy for me to talk about it. And I'm not afraid to talk about it. But I look forward to coming months when there will be other women that join the WTV 60 family and produce different content. So what you and I are talking about today are based on what my background has been. But believe me, it does not cover all the areas of interest or need for women and men at any age.
Oh, I love that, because you have broadened the horizons for everyone. And I think what you just shared with us is that that's your wheelhouse. That's where your strong suit is. But you're wanting other women who have
Mhm.
expertise and they're the influencers, the experts in their arena, whatever it might be, to come and add their content to your WT60
Yes.
TV channel. And that's what
Yes.
your new website and all is offering. And you're going to I don't know how we're going to do it, but I want you to align with Leading Ladies, Leaving Legacies so they can tap
Definitely.
dance back and forth between each other, because
Yeah.
that's what's needed. Because you won't align with everybody, none of us do, but those that are kin or connected in any way that will support what you're doing will be beneficial. I love that seed, because WTV 60, and you said 3 years you've been about this, putting out the content and everything. Oh my goodness.
July 4th, 2019 was my first show. And there's
Oh my.
over 200 shows, by the way, mainly
Woohoo. And
mainly from
are
me.
all of these stored somewhere? Is there a place where when people get to WTV 60, they'll be able to explore their evergreen, find out and get to them, view them if needed and when needed?
Thanks for
Yes?
bringing that up. And the truth is, on my old website, I had a calendar and everything was there. But I don't know
Ah,
if I said just today we launched the new version and all of the shows are not up there yet. I want to try to bring them in a, I don't know, a holistic way where
yes.
I'm not sure how it's going to go because it's not easy to build a new website, as people know. So they will be all available in the near future. And I want to throw something out to your audience, if I
Please.
may, because I see
Absolutely.
we have some people on the chat.
Yes.
And I love that people are responding to what Joy and I are talking about. But I would
Absolutely.
ask the people on the chat, is there an area? Now, I'm not sure if everybody watching is aging, but think about your mom, your grandmom. Is there an area that you think would be helpful to you or someone in your life to get some more information, inspiration, and support? I'd love to.
Mm.
And this is how we build our content, by the way, through our surveys and by just being out on Facebook groups and just seeing what are people interested in.
Dorothy, I am at we had a recap here and we did it in the best way, and your information is just stellar. It's just so sterling and strong and so needed. I'm so honored that you were able to come back and share this with us. Time flies here. I want you to tell us what you have
Okay.
in the works for, I think you said April. Share with us
Yes.
everything, because the website is up, how they can get there. My engineer is scrolling across everything, and all of you are here participating and sharing with us. Thank you for being here. We love good company, and your company is always welcome. Dorothy, the stage is yours. Share with us what's coming up in April. I love the title.
Okay, well, I just before we went live, I looked at my own website and I see that so it's WTV60.com. And I see on the home page there's a tab that says boot camps. Now, each year I run two boot camps. One is Take Charge of Your Money, which will be coming in September. That is now on the website. But starting in April, we are doing a 4-part boot camp, Take Charge of Your Estate. I've done it a few times. It's so necessary. Believe me, I know the topic. I'm not an attorney, but I have been twice an executor. So I've been through the process and it's so important. So that is coming up after tax season, April 15th, which is really May 15th this year.
Excellent
It's for
timing.
everybody. It's for everybody
Excellent timing.
to join in.
Excellent, excellent. I'm so glad that you ended with that, because that's so needed for most people, and the timing is superb. Dorothy, you must come again and again and again. We are meant to
Okay.
dance together, and I can't wait to see you next. I'm going to put you in the green room, and I'll be with you in a
Okay.
second. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Was her information absolutely unbelievable? Listen, we all need this. I don't care what generation you're in. It's powerful and it's so needed. I'm always honored to see you here. I know how active and involved everyone is, immersed in what they're doing. So when I look out and see you here, even though I don't maybe note your name and your comment, I'm aware and I'm grateful that you show up. I'm saying to you, as I always say, I'm leaving you with much, much love from my heart to your heart. I'm sending you always only the very, very best. Be and stay well. Cheers.